In the tech world, precision is just everything, right? I mean, one wrong semicolon in your code and the whole build can crash. But have you ever thought about how one wrong word in your project update can cause just as much chaos? Well, today, we're going to dive into exactly that. We're talking about the perfect tenses. Think of them as your secret weapon for making your communication just as sharp and precise as your code.
So, think of this like leveling up your professional skill tree. You've already got the technical side on lock, right? Now it's time to boost those language skills to match. The goal? To describe your work with absolute, total confidence.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll cover why this stuff even matters in tech. Then we'll break down the present and the past tenses. After that, we'll put it all together in a complete toolkit and wrap up by showing you some common mistakes to avoid. Sound good? Let's jump in.
Okay, first up, why tenses matter in tech. I know what you might be thinking, an entire explainer just on grammar, but trust me, in the tech world, tiny changes in how you say something can have huge consequences. Let me show you what I mean with a super common scenario.
So, picture this. You're in your daily stand-up meeting. Your PM turns to you and asks, "Hey, what's the status on that critical bug fix?" Now, the way you answer that question, it can completely change how they see the project's progress. It's a high-stakes moment, for sure.
Okay, just look at the difference here. If you say, "We are fixing the bug," what does that actually mean? Is someone working on it right this second, or is it just sitting in the backlog? It's kind of vague, right? But if you say, "We have been fixing the bug," that signals a real active effort. It tells them you've been putting in the time. And check out this next one. This is even more critical. The server stopped. Okay, that's a problem, but the server had stopped before the alert. Now, that's the start of a real diagnosis. You're giving context, a timeline. That is the power of precision we're talking about. All right, if you take away just one single thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. The core idea behind all these perfect tenses, it all boils down to one simple word: before. Seriously, it means an action happened before, right now, or it happened before some other event in the past. If you can get that one concept, you've pretty much unlocked the whole system.
And this timeline here really helps visualize it. See that top line? With the present perfect, you've got an action that happened in the past, but it has a direct connection, a relevance to right now. Now look at the bottom line. With the past perfect, we're talking about two things that happened in the past, and we're just making it crystal clear which one happened before the other. It's all about creating that clean, easy-to-follow sequence of events.
Okay, let's build on that foundation. When we're describing what's happening now, you really have to ask yourself one key question. Am I talking about a finished result, or am I talking about the ongoing effort? Because they're two very different things.
First up, the present perfect. This sense is all about results, about completion. Think of it as your done stamp. It's perfect for progress reports. When you say something like, "We have completed the first module," you're not just talking about the past. You're saying, "Hey, look at this finished milestone that's relevant right now." The result is what matters.
But what if the task isn't finished yet? Well, that's where its partner, the present perfect progressive, comes into play. Its whole focus is on the duration of the work. If you say, "We have been testing the application since 9 a.m., you're telling your team, "Hey, the work is happening. It's in progress." The activity itself is the update.
Let's put them side by side, because this makes the difference so clear. I have written the documentation. What does that mean? It's done. It's ready to go. Now compare that to, I have been writing the documentation. See, I'm still working on it. The activity is the point. One focuses on the completed result, the other on the ongoing process. It's that simple.
All right, so we've got the present covered. Now let's jump back in time and talk about the past. And trust me, these next two tenses are absolutely crucial for telling a clear story, especially when you're writing, say, an incident report, where the exact order of events is everything. So, this is the past perfect. Its one and only job is to put two past events in the correct order. Check out this sentence. The developer had fixed the bug before the client demo. So what happened first? The bug fix, right? The past perfect makes that totally 100% clear. It places that action firmly before the demo. There's zero ambiguity, which, as you know, is essential for things like postmortems.
And, you guessed it, here comes its progressive partner, the past perfect progressive. And just like before, the focus immediately shifts to duration. This tense tells you what was happening leading up to another event in the past. For example, we had been testing the app for hours before the error appeared. You see? You're not just saying you tested, you're providing that crucial context of how long you were testing. It helps explain why the error might have shown up.
So let's compare these two directly. The team had finished the feature before the meeting. That's a completed milestone, done. But the team had been working on the feature before the meeting. That describes the ongoing activity right up until the meeting started. Now, both of these are perfectly correct, but they tell two completely different stories about the team's progress, don't they?
Okay, we've officially covered all 4 key tenses, so let's pull everything together now into one simple toolkit you can use anytime.
Seriously, this table is your new best friend. It's your cheat sheet. It all comes down to asking yourself just 2 simple questions. First, am I talking about the present or the past? Second, is my focus on a completed result or the duration of the activity? Answer those 2 questions and you'll know exactly which tense you need. It's so simple, but so effective.
And you know what? To make things even easier, there are certain keywords that are like little clues or signals for which tense to use. If you find yourself using words like already, just, or so far, chances are you're using the present perfect. Talking about something that's been happening 4 hours or since this morning, that's a huge hint you need the progressive form. Think of these as your handy little shortcuts. All right, last but not least, let's talk about avoiding some common mistakes. Because look, knowing the rules is one thing, right? But trying to apply them when you're in a meeting or writing a quick update, that's where it gets tricky. So here are a couple of pro tips for clear communication.
Okay, this first one is a biggie, a really common mistake. Remember how we said the present perfect connects a past action to now? Well, words like yesterday, or last week, or in 2022, they lock an event into a specific finished time in the past. They cut that connection to now. So if you're going to name a specific finished time, you have to use the simple past. You can't say, we have deployed yesterday. You have to say, we deployed the update yesterday. Makes sense, right?
And here's another trap people fall into all the time. It's about certain types of verbs. See, some verbs don't really describe actions. They describe states. Verbs like know, own, like, or understand. You don't really do these things over and over. They're more like a constant state of being. And because of that, they sound really weird in a progressive ing form. Like, you wouldn't say you have been knowing a programming language. That sounds odd, right? You just know it. So instead you'd say, I have known this library for years.
So, if we boil it all down, the final takeaway is this. What we've been talking about isn't just a bunch of boring grammar rules. Not at all. This is about upgrading your professional toolkit. These tenses are the tools that let you describe your progress, your history, and your results with absolute, undeniable clarity.
I mean, just think about all the places you can use this in your day-to-day work. When you're in project updates, writing incident reports, in debugging discussions, or even just working on documentation. Getting these tenses right means you eliminate confusion. It makes sure that everyone, and I mean everyone on your team, is on the exact same page.
So, I've got a little challenge for you this week. The next time you're writing a progress report or a comment in a pull request or even just talking in your next stand-up, I want you to pause for a second. Think about it. How can you use one of these perfect tenses to describe your work with just a little more precision? Give it a try. Thanks for joining me.